Hello and welcome to another episode. On this week's episode, we are in Porkerall still, where we was at the end of the last episode, and we are going over to Gorge de Loop in order to go get that ideal photograph that I wanted in that cool little gorge. So it was quite exciting because I knew there was probably not going to be any boats over there. So the plan was quite simple. It's literally just around the island, so I had to go from the port around the island just over to Gorge de Loop. What could possibly go wrong? So I have found this little gorge. Someone's whistling from somewhere. This might be the coolest place I've been in the boat. About to go have a swim. And go get a photo of the boat. It was quite nice to visit on a dull day because it added to the scenery. We weren't so easy anchoring here though, and it is a bit nerve-wracking because there's rocks on either side. And there's a fairly strong wind, but it's coming from there, so we're not really getting it, or we're not getting much of it. The dinghy's deflating on me, I don't know why. Got over here some bones in the water in this little creek. Oh, there's crabs everywhere. I don't know where I'm going to tie the dinghy. Could maybe just leave it in the water. What is that coming out of the water? It's all a bit spooky. Let's try not to touch a crab. Didn't bring my flip-flops. I need to get the water out of the dinghy. It got loads of water in as I was moving. Where can I tie him? Do I need to tie him? This might be the coolest place I've been in the boat. In fact, it is. It's kind of tied. Shoes would have been a good idea. It's just weird. Hopefully I don't stand on anything. My feet aren't thanking me for... I don't know why I'm whispering. Slip away from imminent death. I used to not mind climbing up things. I don't know if I've gained some older age fear, but the problem's going to be coming back down. That's what I'm scared of. Really getting back down is a problem. It's easy stepping down. I feel stuck.
You know when you stand on Lego or like a plug? That's what this is like. I don't think my flip-flops would even be a better idea. I'm gonna have to get some trainers because it's painful. I don't have any signal here, like it's zero signal. So I can't check the wind. I did look this morning, but it's easier to look when you're actually in place. I need to have a look though because it's quite tight in there. There's quite a bit of shallow water around. I'm just not sure if the wind was to come from over there in the south, and the boat was to then go this way, if it ends up on the rocks. I don't think so, but because I don't have any signal, it's quite hard to check. Like, the GPS is fairly accurate normally, but Navigational on my phone, I haven't paid for it, and because of that it gives me like a half version, which I don't really trust, so I don't know, I'll have to check. But yeah, Gorge de Loup, so we have Loup de la Mer in the Gorge de Loup. It's pretty cool, but the day's getting on a little bit. I'm hungry, so I'm going to go back to the boat. This rain's not really ideal. I'm a little bit stuck. I'm not sure how I'm going to get back out here. The engine doesn't have a neutral, so as soon as I start it, it goes in forwards. Oh, there's so much water in here. I don't know where the one oar went. I really need to put some air in this dinghy. I feel like I'm getting closer to them rocks. What's happened is we've come back and the rain and loads of storms and clouds, and there was a little bit of thunder, and what was you know, nice has quickly turned scary. And I know that the wind's coming from the south later, early in the morning, so really I needed to go back and anchor at the other side of the island. I just wanted to come anchor here for a little bit because it looked cool. I've come and got myself stuck. I think I've just tried to run the engine, but it's going off. I think I need to put some fuel in, but the problem is to put fuel in while it's raining, you risk getting water in the tank. So I need it to stop raining so I can put fuel in. And really, I'd like to stay here, but it's...
So the video's not broke. I'm just explaining it was really nerve-wracking being so close to them rocks.
I went and got some really cool photos. It's definitely up there with anchorage. Well, probably the nicest place I've anchored, because you know, there's no other boats here, probably because they knew these storms were coming. But there's no signal here at all, so I can't even check the wind. The clouds coming over the cliff. Trying to pretend it weren't scary, but there's been a few times I'm in the water and a squall. Is it a squall? Like suddenly the water, the rain falls, and you know, it was really heavy rain, and then the wind just starts gusting, and that's pretty scary when you're next to the rocks. I bet I can find a photo of my boat somewhere on the internet, because there's been no end of people up on the rocks. Oh, I don't know what to do. Really, I just want to go have a swim. I don't want, if a storm goes over, the wind, whatever it's forecast, when a cloud storm goes over, the wind just does what it wants underneath, like, and all it takes is for the boat to fly around that way, and I'm not sure how. I don't think I'd be in it, but you know, if it's a really strong gust then comes from the south, yeah, it's just a bit scary. So the rain stopped a little bit. It's a long way around as well. Someone's having a swim over there. You know what? I'm going for a swim. We're just gonna have to pray that the rain stops and the wind doesn't do anything drastic. I need to move because I have this same problem where I struggle to start the engine in the morning and the wind's coming from the south in the morning, and the last thing I want is...
Alright, so this is where the problem lied, and I'll record over and show you the best I can on a diagram, because the GoPro, yeah, it's just, it's been frustrating me for weeks while I've been editing the videos since I started recording on that GoPro, and the sound quality, etc. Anyway, I'll do you a diagram here. So basically, the red dot you see in the middle of the screen is where my boat was when I entered. So the wind when I entered was coming from where you see the green lines on the screen. What's happened then is the wind direction has changed, and now the boat has spun around on the little black dot you see. That's where the anchor is. So the red circle coming around the red dot, that is the path, the path. That's where the boat will go depending on which way the wind's blowing, because it moves from where the anchor is in a circle around the anchor. So the orange line is shallow water. So as you can see from this diagram, that's as Navionics shows me. So what I can tell you is where the red dot now is 7 meters depth. That orange line you can see, it drops very quickly to like 1 meter depth all around, and you can even see it above in the corner towards the first red arrow towards the north. There's even like some 0.5 depths, and you've always got to be really careful for rocks, etc. too. So I'd be fairly certain at some point I've probably touched a rock. However, I was in a very tight little cove there, so why? So basically, if the wind was coming now, as it was from any of the red arrows you see, it's pushing me around, and I become very close to that orange line, which I don't want to be on, because it's there where you can end up in big trouble. I'd set the anchor so that I had enough to get around, minus if there was any rocks that I hadn't seen, but I did have a quick look around to see if there was any rocks when I arrived. The issue and fear is, there's no room for error there, or not even error, just a slight drag, and you're very close to some rocks. So protection wise as well, I couldn't really get any further into that cove to have a little bit more protection from where the wind was coming from, and my back was now facing to the rocks. And I'd seen the weather report in the morning, and it should have been okay. The issue is, what you tend to get, or what I find you get quite a lot of the time, is when the wind changes direction or there's a squall, it can be quite unpredictable, and you sometimes have like a part where it blows a bit stronger than was anticipated for a little bit. And because I'd not been able to recheck the weather, I didn't really know what was going on with them storms that had suddenly like come about, and you'd seen them building up throughout the day. So for that reason, it was quite nerve-wracking being where I was. And I'm going to get into it in a later video why I shouldn't have been sailing with my engine the way it was. So I'll get to that in a future video, but yeah, back to it. I hope the diagram makes a little bit of sense. Did I say everything on the diagram? Yeah. Anything behind the green line's good. The wind that way would push me out towards the sea, and this is something that I say quite often, and I think people think it sounds crazy. I'd rather the wind blow the boat out to sea than I would towards the rocks. Like, obviously, if it was really strong, it might take some getting back, but the fear of it ending up on the rocks is it's a scary thought. So yeah, and now the wind was coming from where the red arrows are, and it was a bit dangerous to be where I was.
And it's a fairly strong south wind tomorrow, so there's going to be endless swell because there's nothing breaking it up. So this, as nice as it is now, tomorrow in the morning will be the worst possible part of this island that can be. So it's scary sometimes. Yeah, sometimes it is quite scary. And I don't know if not having signal just makes me feel a little bit strange. Like, I'd always think I wouldn't be that bothered about that, but I am a little bit, because I can't check anything. Right, I'm gonna, the rain stopped, I need to get some fuel in the engine. Let's hope getting this nice photo we got was worth it and isn't the end of the boat. The engine is on. It's me just being an idiot. I always forget that little bit at the back that stops it. I always forget to make sure it's pushed back in. So it weren't that there was no fuel. I was just being a bit stupid. I can't find any hats, so I'm down to this one. And as the sun, like, it's 6 o'clock, I'm sure the sun hasn't set, but I honestly don't know where it would be in the sky. I need to tidy it. Oh, slippy deck. I feel like I should have gone for a swim, but it's just not that enticing while it's raining. Enticing. Where's my anchor? I'm not looking forward to this. I don't really want to go. Like, there's no signal. So if I knew 100% it was going to be alright for the night, I'd stay. It's impressive, isn't it? I think we're going to go back around to the other side. I need signal. I forgot to update you the other day when I said I was going for a beer. I actually bumped into some people, and ended up saying I had a boat and they were visiting the island for the day. And then the message, as I said, like, oh, have you seen any boat trips? And they were like, we'd like to do one. I gave them my number. They messaged me saying it was actually going to be today, but they've got either an American or a Canadian number, and they messaged me saying, could you go to tomorrow? When they messaged me, it would have been today, but they messaged yesterday. 12 till 4, and then they put at the end of the message 300, so I think they was offering to pay 300 euros. I really could have done with doing that boat trip for 300 euros. Like, that 300 euros probably fixed this rig. And that was just from me going and mentioning it on the land. So I don't know whether to go over to, tonight I'm going to go anchor at the other side. I need signal. But if I could for a few weeks try advertise some boat trips, the problem is I don't know how. But that's just one from word of mouth. Maybe if I go anchor tomorrow over by Hayres, I would attach it. I don't know how to actually say it. Because it's not that far. I could probably do boat trips from there to here, even this time of year. Obviously the winds, but you know, if I just did it for a few weeks, get enough money. This rig's it's scary. Like, I know I could go from here to Bandol to Cassis. After that though, I'm not that keen on going to like anywhere between Marseille and Argelès-sur-Mer near Perpignan. Cap d'Agde. If anybody knows Cap d'Agde, let's be honest, it's just I've worked there for a little bit before. It's literally there's just swingers. Honestly, the place, it's a bit creepy, so I'm not that bothered about going there. Should probably just point out, I don't have anything against swingers. I also just didn't want to take it out of the video. The place really, genuinely, it's just one of them like places that's a bit, I say creepy, not because of the swingers. I'm just going to dig myself a hole here. Not because of the swingers, but because it's just creepy. So nothing against swingers. If you're a swinger, you subscribe to this channel, please remain subscribed. From Marseille, you can do basically a 100 mile crossing over to Barcelona. I can't do that with this rig as it is. When the wind picked up the other day and I was sailing from like San Rafael over to here, and the wind picked up, I'm just on edge waiting for the furler to snap off. If that happens with the sail on, it's not going to be good, is it? So yeah. And with that trip, I tried to message the people back, but I think because it was an international number, they're not getting my message back. And I tried to call, but I don't think it's calling either. And it's a 300 euro boat trip that I could have just done, but there'll be loads of people over at that place that come over on the ferry, which is quite limited. Selling boat trips, that, you know, it should be easy. I think I've got to give that a go, but I need to go get some internet signal. And yeah, I think that's the idea. I need to go stop messing around. I just honestly, pulling up anchors, it's fun the first few times, and then it becomes a bit of a ball ache. And it's especially a ball ache when you're this close to the rocks. But yeah, We could come back here. Like, I could even put the boat. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to put the boat on click and boat, but maybe if I do put the boat on click and boat, right? I need to think. I'm literally flat out. Like, I'm really poor, so I figured I had enough. I've got enough supplies that I can cope. But you know, then diesel is going to run out soon, and then selling boat trips anywhere after here is not going to be easy until the Canary Islands. So yeah, if I can sell a few, I didn't really think, but literally the first people I asked, they would have booked a boat trip 300 euros more than I would have quoted. I'd have probably quoted 150, and I can get the rig fixed. I'm gonna have to get the rig fixed. I know I joke about having pirate rigging. It did get me here. It might, you know, it might carry on like that, and I can go in light winds, but then when the wind picks up, it's a bit scary. I feel all on edge. These storms. I felt like this really since I set off from. I kept going back to that same place at anchor because I think it was just because it was familiar. I wanted to really stay and have a nice sunset, but I don't think we'll see it anyway because it's cloudy. You can see all the rain going on over at sea over there. And I'm sure none of you guys who watch mind if I sell some boats. Not just like, okay, I had X amount of thousands and I was sailing from so and so to so and so. It started with I didn't really have the budget to do it, and I think there's not many other channels like that. I know that by the time this video comes out, obviously I don't know what the situation will be, but I've watched quite a bit, and everyone always compares this to the Bumbling Sailor, and I know he's in the same boat really. He's having to find some bits of work to obviously sort the boat out. I know in real like his Patreons, I remember having a look and thought it probably is just enough to survive, but I also understand then when boats are expensive. I sold quite a few boat trips in like August. All that money really just went on the boat, and still look around and see that everything's broken. So yeah, I feel like I need to go west because that's what I feel like everyone wants to see. Not necessarily west, but it's a sailing channel, isn't it, at the end of the day, and it's being a survival channel. But it is what it is, isn't it? So we got here, so I'm just waffling on. I'm just putting off actually going because I know when we get around that corner all the way over there, the sea's going to be horrible. It was nice that I was the only boat. I would feel a little bit more comfortable if maybe there was just one more boat there, but there's not. And I don't know how this isn't like the sought after place. Oh. I can come back here, can't I? If I just get it over and done with, move to the other side of the island, get internet. Tomorrow maybe go over to Jerez, however you say it. I might even go have a sail to Bandol and back. It's not that far. But if I go spend a day in Jerez and see if we can make some money in the middle of nowhere again. It took us a long time to do it in Cannes. But I also see how many people get on and off the ferry every day. and the one family I spoke to was all up for it and was going to pay €300. Just annoyingly, I can't contact them. Maybe I can go find them because I think they're on holiday for a bit. There must be a way you can contact a number even if you can't contact it. Like, they managed to text me, so yeah, 11 minutes of me talking absolute rubbish. We're gonna fall in trying to do it, I think. Don't like this. That rig, we got that quite straight and it's bent again, so yeah, can't go on with that. We need to make some money. We could do boat trips with just the mainsail, put this one in the bag, because we can probably retighten that. The issue is when there's a sail on it and it's flapping around, then it's gonna break. I wish I could teleport to the other side of the island. That was really tight. Just got the anchor up. It's on the front, which isn't ideal. But as soon as I pulled it, it pulled me towards that side. But then very quickly I started to drift. Like, when you're on your own, that's the issue you have. Like, there's no one to quickly like reverse the boat. Anyway, we made it. So I felt poorly for like 2 days. Like, just pulling that up just made me feel like, I don't know if I have COVID. Is that still a thing? Can you still get that? Don't know. And as soon as I've just come out of that little cove and the waves have started, that was a nice spot to be in, but I don't really want to go back around in this. Straight away the wind, like, and the waves. It's going to be a rough ride around here. I could see before I set off, as soon as I leave this bit, there's a bit of a swell. You can see some white caps over there. It's not going to be fun. We was nice and we was literally in that flat water over there. Very quickly we're not in that flat water anymore, but it's not a suitable place for the night, so cool place though. This is just as bad as I thought it was going to be. As soon as I've left protection from that, the wind is blowing and the waves, they never look. The thing is now too, I had a bit of head sail up, it'd take the edge off, but to go get it up in this is mission impossible. Just gonna get around there. I almost regret coming out trying to get a nice footage of the boat in that cool gorge now. The wind's been about 16 knots today from the east, and I'm now that's a fairly big swell. I don't know exactly what it is because I can't check. It's not a good time to not feel well too. Everyone's falling over in the boat. Anyway, we've got a nice boat. The clouds have passed a little bit at least. It's looking better than it did. Once I get around that tip, I'll be alright.
right, so I won't just leave you with that really concerned face you just saw. But getting out of there, it was pretty rough. And yeah, from there I went back around to anchor. But that is the end of this episode. So thanks everyone for watching. Apologies again about the audio quality. I spent a long time trying to edit as much out of it as I could on this episode. The good news is we're nearly caught up. There's maybe 4, 5 more episodes, and then we should be up to real time. And when I discovered the GoPro was broken, so thanks to everyone for persevering with me, and thanks for everyone's comments recently. It's a few days in real time before Christmas, so Merry Christmas to everybody. We're not celebrating it on the boat this year, but more about that to come. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone who's supported on Coffee and Patreon. It goes a long way. And as always, if you could give the video a thumbs up, it's really appreciated. And I'll see you in the next one.